and welcome to today's episode on Life Saving Aid. Today we are going to be looking at what to do for an accident victim in order to help increase their chances at survival. As a good Samaritan, you get to an accident scene. What are the things you should do in order to increase the chances of survival of the victims? First and foremost, ensure that the scene is safe for you, the rescuer or the good Samaritan, to intervene. Now, when you are trying to intervene, ensure you move the victim to a safe space. Next, you call for help for those who are living in areas where there are emergency medical services. So what do? You activate emergency medical services. And when you do that, there are important information you must provide. Number one, the exact location where the accident has occurred. Number two, the number of victims involved in the accident. Number three, the nature of the state of the victim. How do I mean? It means, for example, are the victims bleeding or not? Are they unconscious or they are conscious? So you have to give them information on what you are seeing at the scene. This will help the emergency medical services team, who will be coming to evacuate the victims, to prepare adequately in order to help increase the chance of survival of the victim. Now, if you are in an environment where emergency medical services are not available, it means you have to become the emergency medical service. And you can achieve that in two ways. Number one, you call more rescuers. Please come and help us. The more the rescuers, the better for the victims. The other option you are now left with is to organize how to get the victims to the nearest hospital, because time is also very, very important. The next thing you do is to provide first aid to the victims at the scene, while you are waiting for the emergency medical service to arrive, or the means of transportation to the hospital, or while you are even on your way to the hospital. Provide first aid to the victims. Sadly, this is one aspect that is usually left out in our environment. You see accident victims being rushed to the hospital, and then you see the way they are being transported, you see the way they are being handled. These are things that can even worsen their situation. Instead of helping, you end up worsening their situation without knowing, because the fact that you are trying to help, it means that you have a good heart, you're a good Samaritan. Unfortunately, if you are not doing the right thing, you will be worsening their situation without knowing. So it is important to know, how do you provide first aid to accident victims in order to help increase their chances at survival. The first aid I'm about listing depends on what you see at the scene. Take, for example, at the scene, you've called for help, you've moved the victim, to a safe spot. The first thing is to check, is this victim conscious or not? And how do you do that? Hello, 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 can you hear me? What's your name? You are engaging the victim. If the victim is not talking, the chances that the victim is unconscious is high. You look at the chest wall, it's not rising and falling. The chances that this victim is not breathing is high. Next, you check for pulse. You feel for pulse, the carotid pulse, at the junction between the lower part of the jaw and the neck. Where the lower part of the jaw and the neck is connecting, you press deep. You feel for pulse. If you feel something hitting your fingers, then there's pulse. If you don't feel anything hitting your finger, there are two things. It's either the victim is dead, unfortunately, or the victim is unresponsive. And what do you do at that point? You activate CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. And how do you provide CPR for this victim? The victim is already being laid on their back. Okay, you clench your finger this way, the middle of the chest, lower part. So clench your finger and start giving chest compression until emergency medical services arrive, or until the victim becomes responsive, or until someone else comes to take over chest compression from you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Keep this going. Why are you counting out? Because you are counting out because you want to be sure that you are giving up to 100 to 120 chest compression every minute. That way, you'll be able to monitor and you'll be able to give effective chest compression. Now, let's assume this victim is conscious. If the victim is conscious, you don't need to give CPR. What you need to do is to assess, where are you feeling pain? Are you all right? Is everything okay? You check the victim. Is the victim bleeding from anywhere? Because one of the things that can kill the victim is bleeding. And so you want to help reduce the rate at which the victim is bleeding. You might not be able to totally stop the bleeding, but you should be able to help reduce the rate at which the victim is losing blood. So take, for example, in this victim is having a cut on the head. This victim is conscious. In such situation, what you do is to help secure this bleeding so that it will reduce. Please, when dealing with blood, you should not make direct contact with blood. So you put on a pair of hand gloves, or you look for a clean nylon bag to just tie your hand, something to just say, but don't make direct contact with the blood. As a car owner, having gloves in your car can be a life-saving tool. Now, you've put on your gloves because you are dealing with blood. You want to do all you can to help this victim reduce the rate at which they are bleeding. So take, for example, this victim is having a cut on the head. You get a clean cloth. If something big, you fold it together in such a way that it will cover the area of the injury. You place it directly on the injury. Of course, the victim will be in pain. Okay, so but you place it, you have to apply pressure in order for the bleeding to reduce. Now, while applying pressure, you can apply pressure with your hand, while you wait for emergency medical services to arrive, or while you make your way to the nearest hospital. And if it's a situation whereby there are multiple victims that you need to go and help other people, what do? You look for another cloth that you can help secure this cloth over the injury there. Or if you don't, many car owners, they have sellotape. You can bring out sellotape and quickly secure the cloths around the place that is bleeding in order to help reduce the rate at which the victim is bleeding. Next, try to calm the victim. Why? Because when the victim is anxious, agitated, they bleed more. Now, if the injury is on the abdomen, get a cloth, you place over the area where the bleeding is taking place, and then you look for a cloth to tie it over in order to maintain the pressure to help reduce the bleeding. If it's on the chest wall, please don't give up and say, oh, it's the chest. Oh, this person don't die. No, your job is not to certify people dead. Your job is to provide first aid and leave the rest for the experts that will take over and God. So what that means that even if it's on the chest, what do? You look for a clean cloth, place over the area that is bleeding, and then you look for a way to secure it there, or you apply pressure until proper help arrives, or until you get to the hospital. Place the victim in a comfortable position and you keep reassuring them. So when you hear the victim say, I can't move my legs, or I can't feel my legs, please, such victims, just tell them, lie still, don't move. If you must transport these victims, it's not one person will just form Mr. Macho and move. No, at least two persons will move the victim in such a way that the victim's entire body will be carried like a log. Okay? Now, how this is properly done is that you look for a board that you can, you move the victim a little, you place the board behind, you drop the victim and you carry. But most times it's usually not available at accident scenes. So what do? You look for hefty people, either 4 persons or two strong persons who can carry this victim from the arm and leg into the vehicle that will move the victim to the hospital. Cold can worsen the situation of an accident victim. And so what do? You can get clothes or a blanket and wrap the victim. It's important that they are kept warm. And if a victim is complaining, I'm feeling cold, please quickly look for something to wrap the victim, a blanket or a jacket or a big cloth, wrap the victim. Reason being that hypothermia can worsen the situation of an accident victim. It's one of the causes of death in an accident victim. So now when you've done all this, please and please, this is for those in my environment, whereby the system is struggling, whereby things don't seem to be working the way it should. Please and please, you've done so much, you've sacrificed so much in providing first aid, moving the victim to the nearest hospital. It is important what you do at the hospital. Okay, it doesn't make sense that you've successfully moved this victim to the hospital and then you get to the hospital, you start fighting for whatsoever reason, whether justifiable or not. And then this victim is being abandoned either in the car or just being abandoned, and eventually the victim dies. So please, what do? When you get to the hospital, please, it's a collaborative affair. It means that you, the rescuer, the good Samaritan, alongside with the hospital staff, must look for a way to work together in order to help this victim increase their chances at survival. So when you get to a hospital in our kind of environment and they are telling you gloves are not available, but what do is to ask, please, how can we get gloves? Because you see accident victims being rushed to the hospital. Lot of rescuers, lot of people will follow to the hospital, and then when they need important things, nobody is seen taking responsibility. Please, it's important you know that whoever is moving an accident victim to the hospital is responsible for that victim temporarily until someone else, like the relative, come and take over, or the government or the system. So at that point, whereby you are the main rescuer available, please and please do all you can to help increase the chance of survival of this victim by collaborating with the health workers you meet at the nearest hospital. If there are no gloves, ask, how can we provide gloves? If they need assistance to move the victim out of the vehicle into the stretcher, please assist them. Healthcare providers are not your enemy. They also want to help save lives. The system is hard on everybody. The doctors, the nurses, they are not excluded from the system we are in. So the best you can do is to collaborate with those at the health facility you are moving the victim to, ensure that you have some change in case they need 1 or 2 material, let it be provided. At the end of the whole thing, if the victim survives, you can get back your money. Just look for a way to collaborate in order to help increase the chance of survival of the victim. Please share this video so that together we can help save many lives.